Hello my loves and welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be talking about the dangers of how narcissistic men are usually homosocial. So they don't crave your love, they crave other male attention. So this is probably one of the most biggest red flags and signs and traits of a narcissistic man, even avoidant men as well, but most sort of like toxic and misogynistic men will usually have this trait. I have seen more and more women noticing that a lot of these kind of more narcissistic men that they've been in relationships with usually have like this kind of DL, so down low energy, where they do act more like they're attracted to men. But this video is not going to be just about, you know, closeted men that just so happen to also be narcissists. So disclaimer, this is not shaming men. This is not saying that like, oh, gay men are horrible or narcissists. That's not what I'm saying at all. So, but this is going to be more about a kind of more sinister energy that runs rampant more covertly within men that usually are narcissistic or avoidant. They have this more emotional homosexual energy, which is very, very dangerous for women when you're in a relationship with them, because they will constantly devalue you. You will never, ever be on the same level as other men in their eyes. So this can cause so many problems. And there's obviously a very, very big energy drain as well. But to make it more clear, I will be doing 5 signs so you can further understand or disclose whether or not you are or have been in a relationship with a man like this. A lot of these men usually will be in the closet as well. These are the typical like Andrew Tates, red pill bros, that type of thing. And trust me, I was with a man like this who was secretly on Grindr, who literally was cheating on me with other men. So again, I talk from experience. But I've also been with a covert narcissist who had a very big father wound and mother wound, but he still had this homosocial energy towards men, where he would value them far, far more than me and other women in general. So, but it's still the same underlying energy is the points that I'm trying to get to. It's still that same misogynistic mindset that they project onto women. And this is so destructive because they will never respect you. So again, this is not shaming men that have obviously very close friendships with other men. That's obviously lovely and beautiful. You know, this is not to do with that. This is not to do with healthy bromance. This is literally to do with misogynistic forms of abuse. So the first sign is he lights up around other men, but he is cold around you. So obviously this is after the love bombing, you know, phase, which usually lasts, you know, a few months, where he is very like attentive towards you, listening towards you, very like energetic and alive and, you know, kind of performing that connection with you. But once that phase is over, you will notice that he becomes way more alive around his like male friends. Sometimes it can be co-workers, sometimes it can just be men, like strangers, like in general. But you'll notice that he tends to show a lot more sort of energy towards other men. So when you are with him, he'll probably be more flat, distant. He won't listen to what you're saying. He'll be very emotionally unavailable, probably always on his phone. He won't laugh with you. He'll just be really cold, very avoidant. But then again, it's kind of like that Jekyll and Hyde personality. But then you'll notice, oh, as soon as he's with his friends, he'll literally like switch into a very bubbly, witty, smiley person, which you don't really see from him, you know, much unless you're really boosting his ego. With his male friends, again, because it's very performative, it's not based on true bonding or accountability or responsibility, it's like he shows off. And this is like probably the biggest sign that you'll notice within most narcissistic men is they'll be very close knitted with certain men that they basically who don't hold them accountable. So these will be usually other toxic men who obviously, you know, do the same sort of shady things as they do themselves, or men who are just very unaware of their true character because they put on a performance literally to gain their attention and this type of thing. But a lot of homosocial men, or DL men in particular, they will literally do way more for their friends and other men instead, compared to what they do for you. So this can be obviously very painful to live with, especially when it's like after a period of time where you feel very neglected, which they will do that. So they'll emotionally neglect you. They will stonewall you. They'll be very quiet with you. They won't do much. It's like there'll just always be this like wall between you two. But then as soon as they're with other men, they literally come to life. So it's like, again, it's a form of devaluation. And I noticed this a hell of a lot with my previous partners. So 2 of them in particular, but especially my most recent ex, where whenever he would be around men, sometimes men he's just met. So I don't mean just like close male friends that they've had probably for years, or like family members, even men that he barely knows or knew. It's like this other side of him will literally like suddenly come out. And it was very bizarre. And I remember thinking like, this is very strange. Like, why does he do that? And then obviously it'll cause you anger, you frustration, resentment and sadness within yourself. And this is the type of like very deep psychological mind games narcissists do, is they really do have this kind of deep misogynistic disrespect towards women, where your energy doesn't mean much to them. They will just kind of use you, which I'll get into later. But that is what probably one of the biggest signs is. It doesn't matter what man they are, unless it's a man that kind of triggers their ego, they will not perform or light up around. But usually most of the time with just other men in general, especially men that they admire, they will literally light up, and it's like you'll see a very, very different side of them. So it's very like almost creepy in a way, because it's like you really do see how much they act, how much they perform in front of other people. And this leads me on to number 2, is male validation runs his ego. So kind of like what I was saying with number 1, the reason why they light up so much and become very animated, witty and smiley, even laughing like very loudly, this type of thing, like at their jokes and whatever, even if they're not that funny, like silly little things like that, that usually, an empath or neurodivergent people will usually notice, very subtle things as well. But the reason that they do this is because they desperately crave respect and validation and attention from other men. This will be even more deep if they actually are DL and they are kind of hiding their sexuality. But even if they're not, even if it's just like an emotional homosocial energy, it can still be quite strong in the sense that they don't get the same level of like respect or validation or boost to their ego from you compared to a man giving them a compliment, for example. So you telling them, oh, I love you, or oh, you're doing great, or you complimenting them or praising him will be much, much weaker compared to like a stranger or any random guy saying like, oh, you're great. So it's like that to him is like crack. That to him is like this kind of intense drug that they desperately crave for. And this is even more strong if they do have a father wound or father issues. So if their father abandons them, if they had an absent father, or if they had a father that was very hard on them, or straight up abuse, it's like they will crave this kind of like attention and validation, when in reality, it will never be enough. But a lot of the time, this wound will be even deeper if they do have a mother wound on top of that. So, which to be fair is most people, everyone will have some sort of like parental, trauma or wounds. But if they don't have a good relationship with their mother, a lot of narcissistic men do have mother wounds. And this is, again, the kind of fuel that makes them have this internal hatred towards women. And then they project it onto you. So, for example, if their mother basically you know, done something, or if they blames the mother for that, like for their father kind of leaving or abandoning them or whatever the case. There could be, you know, so many different things. It's like they'll blame the mother for that, and then this is why they desperately crave that kind of affection and attention and validation from other men, but in a very, very toxic way, that they will literally abuse any woman that shows them love and attention, because it's like they just reject it. So instead of them being mature and, you know, basically growing the fuck up, because everyone has abuse, okay? So do not pander, do not coddle people with trauma, because we all have trauma. Many people have far more severe trauma from childhood, and they do not grow up to be narcissistic or go on to abuse other people. So do not justify any forms of abuse because of, oh, their childhood trauma. I want to make that very clear. I'm just pointing out where the catalyst usually stems from. But this is usually, like I was saying in my previous video, it's like they choose to shut down their hearts, and then they basically become vessels of like just this kind of very sinister, dark hive mind energy that goes on to, you know, abuse the feminine, disregards the feminine, neglect her, not love her, and ultimately just crave this kind of patriarchal, toxic energy instead. So again, this is why they crave male affection and attention, because they're craving and feeding off that patriarchal system that really validates and approves the ego. So it goes very deep, because basically they're still choosing ego over heart. So it doesn't matter if they were to be shown, you know, genuine feminine love. It's like they don't choose to open their heart to that. They've chosen to shut it down, and they've chosen to basically be tempted and seduced by their ego. So this is why you can't just show, you know, empathy to people who choose this, because it is a choice. And at the end of the day, they're choosing to feed that within themselves. They're choosing to see, no, I don't give a shit about that. I'm going to chase and feed what makes my ego feel good, not what their heart actually is craving deep within themselves. So this is why you have to have that kind of tough love when you see these signs, and not basically kill yourself trying to, oh, heal his heart. So one day he'll finally, see that your love is enough, because they never will. So number 3 is he performs, but he doesn't connect. So like I was saying before, like everything he does literally is a performative personality type. So like with all narcissists, but basically even with other men, it is still a performance. So it doesn't mean that he is sharing these deep emotional relationships with other men. It's literally all just a facade. It's very shallow. So on the deeper level, this is why narcissistic men usually do have a kind of underlying hatred towards the feminine, not just because of mother wounds, but because a divine feminine, a good woman, a true genuine love will hold him accountable. She does not pander to his ego like a group of other males will. So this is why they crave that, because it feeds their ego, where a woman won't do that when she truly sees him, when she truly wants to help him grow and open him and expand his heart. So he will see that as a kind of attack, because obviously it bursts his bubble, it bursts his ego, like I've said in other videos, etc. But on a more homosocial level, this is why he craves to be around other men way more than women in general, because of this. Because women who are truly more intuitive, especially in a relationship with him, she will see through that, where other men won't do that. So he will choose to be around men who don't hold him accountable, who don't push him to be responsible. He'll want to be around other men who either like give him a kind of boost of like, how to get more money, do this, do that, indulge in substance abuse, indulge in gambling or sex or whatever the case, or partying, like kind of usually low vibrational habits or distractions on that type of thing, but never like the true inner emotional work. So with these types of men, they usually avoid other men, good men, who will burst that bubble too. They will usually turn on each other. So again, it's like they're selective, even though they'll perform and crave, attention from most men in general. When they get too close, to a good man who actually will kind of see through him, that's when things can turn, kind of tense around those two. And he'll, distance himself from that type of man or turn on him as well. So this is why it's like, it's not genuine love. It's not genuine connection. It's just performative bullshit. And unfortunately, most men, enable it. And this is why it's rampant, because other men will enable it, or it's like they don't hold other men accountable. Some men do, they see through that shit, but most men, even when they see, their best friend cheating on their wife or doing very, disgusting, vile things, or acts of betrayal, they won't say anything. They'll be silent. And this is why men are more prone to homosocial, conditioning and ways of living, because of this, because it all goes hand in hand with patriarchal toxic systems that run, humanity essentially. So, but with narcissists, it's like they are, at the forefront of it all. It's like another level to them. It's far more intense. So ultimately it is all for his image, and other men boost that image. It's like they keep his delusion alive, where a woman who is acting from her heart, who sees, truth, and especially, when she's in her dark feminine energy, she will shatter that illusion. She will shatter his delusions. She'll hold him accountable. She'll make him be responsible. But narcissistic men hate that energy with a passion, because they don't want to grow. They don't want to expand. They would rather live in this almost like Peter Pan syndrome, running around or running away with other men who can kind of like enable them. So they'll be very competitive also with other men, because it's like they want to show off in front of each other. They want to be in competition with each other. It's like his ego thrives off all of that. So it's a different energy from like just kind of disciplined ambition. It's an ego that's very fragile, very insecure, that is dependable, that depends on the validation and attention of other men. And this is why, he can even be jealous of you at times, because again, it's like you may even, especially if you're an attractive woman in a relationship with a man, especially a DL man, he will literally be envious of the attention you get. He won't be happy for you. He will literally be envious of attention you get from other men, especially if it's men that he is obsessed with or that he admires. So this again will be that kind of underlining energy that you may feel, that he doesn't support you, he's envious of you, he's constantly in competition with you. So that it won't be this kind of safe, masculine, supportive, loving energy you'll feel from him. It will almost be like a bitchy, sassy, and feminine, toxic energy from him, instead of competition, of resentment, of jealousy. So number 4 is he demisses and devalues feminine advice, wisdom, input. So this will be, again, a very common sign, and one that is more easy to spot, that so many women go through, myself included. I can't even say how many times this happened to me, but you'll notice that it doesn't matter how knowledgeable you are, how wise you are, what great advice you give them, they will never listen to you or take you seriously. Even when you say the exact same thing as a man, he'll instantly get it when a man tells him the same thing. You'll literally give advice, you'll say something, they don't want to believe it, they don't want to hear it. Again, they'll get triggered or defensive or angry even, or just shut down. They won't take it in. But then as soon as a man tells them the same thing or something even more basic, they suddenly have this epiphany, this awakening, this realization of like, wow, that's amazing. When it's like you literally told him the same thing. So this is probably one of the most frustrating things ever that you will encounter with a narcissistic homosocial man, because it's like, it doesn't matter how like incredibly intelligent you are, how wise you are, what you do for him, what guidance you give him, he won't take it in. He won't care. Or if he does see that, oh, you're right over something, he won't be like, oh, wow, you're right. He won't give you that kind of supportive, loving energy that which normal men do when their woman or partner or wife or whatever kind of teaches them or shows them something. They're usually like, wow, they're kind of even more attracted to her. They're like happy for her. They're appreciative. They're grateful for that. But with a homosocial man, he'll get angry about it. He'll be like, oh, like he'll get this kind of resentful, again, jealousy energy, because everything is competition to him, not connection. They crave competition, not connection. So this is what I mean with they don't care about your love, guidance, wisdom, because with a woman, she'll be giving him guidance from her heart because she wants to, you know, help him. She wants to see him grow. She wants to protect him and so forth. But with a man like that, they're not thinking that like that at all. So you're craving connection with him where in his mind, he's in competition with you. And this is where it is so toxic and damaging, because it's almost like you're sleeping with your enemy. You think you're sleeping with a partner, but you're not. You're literally sleeping next to your biggest competition and you don't even know. So this is why it's like you're not a team, which really that's what a healthy dynamic between a healthy masculine man is and a healthy woman is. They're a team. So with a man like this, you'll constantly feel like you have to prove yourself. You have to over explain yourself. It's like you will literally waste so much energy trying to prove yourself constantly to him, where men don't have to barely lift a finger to prove themselves to him, to gain their trust, to gain their respect, to gain their, you know, whatever the case, connection and that type of thing. So it can even be borderline more abusive and sinister in the form of like he'll be paranoid with you. So it's like you're not even, it's like you're constantly fighting to prove yourself all the time, even despite already doing so probably multiple times. So again, I've been through this where you'll literally show them evidence upon evidence upon evidence of your intuition being right or what you're trying to show them to be correct. Yet they don't take it seriously. They'll still be paranoid. They'll still be like distrusting of you, when in reality they probably know you're right, but it's like they get a kick out of like trying to always keep you down. They always want to devalue you. They don't want you in power, because if they accept that your wisdom is true and genuine, then that means they have to make changes. And that's what a narcissist never wants to do. They'll run from the hills. They will literally go to the other side of the fucking world to run away from responsibility, to run away from accountability. So this is why they dismiss and devalue feminine wisdom, feminine guidance, but they will easily listen to another man, especially if it's enabling him. So this is where, again, this like it goes hand in hand with patriarchal brainwashing. And this is where the manosphere bullshit comes into play, red pill bros and all that type of shit. It's because these types of men are very easy to, you know, be influenced by these types of men. When in reality, they are fucking leading you off a cliff. They are literally walking you off a bloody cliff and using your own insecurity against you, where the divine feminine is trying to warn you against all these things. She's actually trying to help you heal. She's actually trying to help you grow into your greatest version and adopt healthy, strong masculinity, which does include protecting the feminine energy. But a narcissistic man will never want to show that or accept that. And this is why they call other men who do show love and respect to other women simps or old sellouts or whatever the case. When in reality is actually the opposite. And number 5 is you feel unseen no matter how much you do for him. This is probably one of the most painful signs, because as a woman, it does not matter how much love you give him. It does not matter how much you support him financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It does not matter how much you give to him. It does not matter how much labor you do for him. He will always make you feel unseen. He will always make you feel unheard. He will still be distant. He will still shut down. He will still basically not care. He will never appreciate what you do for him. And this is probably the most severe form of abuse that a lot of men do with narcissistic tendencies. This is why they do discard you. They do the cycle of love bomb, devalue, discard, and then hoover you when they want to basically feed off your energy again. But ultimately, he's just using you. So like I said with the title, he does not want your love. He does not want your love. He only wants to use you, because people do not neglect and discard and dispose of people that they love. They only basically do that to people they are using. And this is one of the most important things women must learn, because if you don't, you will end up wasting 5, 10, 20, 50 years of your fucking life being used and exploited by a man like this, when another man can barely lift a finger, but he'll put him on a pedestal when you've probably like sacrificed literally everything for him. Especially women who have children, you would have sacrificed your body, your health, whatever the case. A lot of women will sacrifice opportunities, money, careers, like so much is absolutely insane. But he does not give a shit. He will still praise and worship like his friends that do fuck all for him or a man that he doesn't even know, or show so much respect and love to a male influencer or someone, or even his boss that doesn't give a shit about him. So, and again, I've seen this myself. I've seen it time and time with clients as well. It's actually so sinister. It's unbelievable. It's probably one of the most painful, abusive forms of triangulation, because men, you know, narcissistic men don't just triangulate you with other women, they do it with other men. So this is one of the most damaging sides of this whole thing, because you will be basically brainwashed and conditioned into thinking that you're the problem, because a lot of empathic women will turn it onto themselves eventually after years of this conditioning. So basically over time, you'll just do more, show more, give him more love, do more, give him more attention, cook him more nicer meals, you know, oh, I got to now get surgery, I got to make myself look prettier, I got to do this, do that. It's like you're constantly trying to improve yourself to gain the love and attention that he gave you at the beginning. But in reality, he doesn't care because he'll rather get attention and love and his ego boosted by other men. A lot of women will confuse avoidant men with this type of, you know, sign as well, kind of making excuses for them. But it's like, do not make excuses for a man who literally neglects you. If you feel ghosted or ignored or neglected, but then he lights up around his friends or strangers or whatever, but especially other men, he is abusing you. Like, that is literal, a very deep, severe form of emotional abuse. Get the fuck out. Like, that is not him having an attachment style. No, like, stop making excuses for that. Because the longer you sit there taking that, the longer you're being fed off. Because again, like with my other videos, this is a form of energy siphoning, because then you get conditions to basically make yourself feel worse and worse and worse. And then you're giving more, giving more, giving more. He is literally siphoning and harvesting your energy so he can go off and impress other men. So you have to see these signs and take yourself out of it. Remove yourself. Stop being a battery or arm candy or trophy wife or an energy supply for a homosexual DL narcissistic man. Stop doing that, because it will literally destroy your life. It will drain the life out of you, and he will leave you as an empty shell of yourself, just so he can go off and impress other men. So it's actually pathetic, but it can get so dark and sinister, like I've said in my other video. So go check out them. My previous video and how men siphon and harvest your energy, because they're all connected. But this is just another big sign that I wanted to point out and make very clear, because I don't see many people talking about this. But it's probably one of the biggest signs of a narcissistic man is they are extremely homosocial, because they have very, very deep misogynistic tendencies and beliefs, and a deep inner hatred towards the divine feminine. So I hope all of this made sense. If you do want to empower yourself, if you've been through this, if you want to activate your dark feminine energy, which is the key to undoing this type of damage, to activating your intuition, to see these types of men more clearly and not have the fear of walking away so you don't get caught up trying to prove your worth and this type of thing, then please download my Dark Feminine ebook, where I teach you how to do that and how to reclaim your energy and also cut cords from any sort of narcissistic partners and that type of thing as well. So that is always in the link down below. If you want a one-to-one reading with me, if you're worried that you may be in a relationship with a man like this but you're not too sure, then please book in with me, and then I can help give you guidance and closure and advice to help you figure out if you are and what to do. If you want even more deeper knowledge, then join my Goddess Coven Patreon membership, where I do card readings, moon rituals, guidance, more deeper video topics that I can't share on YouTube. That is also down below. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell where you get notified of my future uploads. Now, until next time, I'm sending you so much love, so much light. Take care of yourselves. Stay fierce, stay powerful. Ahimsa.